about okay, let's move on. So let's go over to variables. So creating variables on Postman. So the very first variable we'll be creating is base URL. So in order to create variable, you go to your collection, you click on your collection here, then you click on variable. So let's name our variable base URL. So we are trying to keep our collection simple. So we don't want to manually input the base URL in every endpoint, because sometimes you can be working with a lot of endpoints. So rather than trying to create endpoints for each of the API requests, you can create a single variable whereby you just go to each API request and just reference the variable.
So how did you get the variable again? Please, can you take that again?
So I went to
collection.
I went to the collection. Okay, so I went to the collection, then I went to variable. So then I typed variable. So you can just input your base URL there.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Okay.
This create variables, like the one I know, because I'm also a beginner too. When I first created this variable, I went through environment, the environment feature on the Postman, and I clicked on the environment feature. That was where I was, through that I followed the step, and that was where I was able to create variable. I don't know if what I'm saying is the same thing with this pattern you are using.
Okay. All right, Isioma, are you the one talking?
Yes, ma. I'm the one.
Okay. So there are two approaches to creating variable. You can create a variable in your collection, or you create it in your environment.
Okay.
So right now we are creating on collection.
Okay.
So this is the environment. You can also create a variable on environment.
Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So there are two ways.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
This one, you can also put it here. It depends on the one you want to use. But when you are trying to export your collection, maybe you want to send it to a colleague. After exporting the collection, you have to go ahead and export this environment as well. Because if you send out only the collection, all the reference variable, it will be throwing error while the person is trying to run it. So it all depends on you. You can create it in environment, just don't miss out the environment variables while exporting it to someone else.
Thank you very much.
No.
Okay, sorry, to be clear about this.
Sorry, can you tell us?
Sorry, just yeah, I'm Isaac. Okay. Just to be clear about something. variable created in collection and variable created in environment, what's their scope? Is it that the one created as collection only applies to that collection, while the one for environment applies to all collections in that
Yeah.
environment?
Yes, you're right. You actually answered your question.
Okay, okay. I actually need to be sure that's why I asked. Thank you.
Right. So are we done? Uh, with the variable. Have you created the variable? So don't forget to save. You have to
Uh,
save.
Please, where do you follow to create a variable?
Are you what you said?
Yeah, what are the steps you follow to create the variable?
Okay, I went to collection. Let me close this. I went to collection, then I went to variable. I typed base URL, then I copied this base URL that you have here. You copy it. You copy this. You can cut it and put it here. I hope you are clear about that. Then the next thing is to go here and reference your variable. Base URL. Oh, let me edit it. I have so many. I have another collection variables that are called base URL. So that means I need to make the name unique. I can do underscore URL. There is space. There shouldn't be any space. Then go ahead and save. Um, then you can reference your variable here. Base underscore URL. You can see if you have it there. So save. Then you can go and reference that. You clear out um, this base URL here for all of your collection. Log out. That's the logout slash user slash logout. So don't forget to save the new updates so that you don't lose all the updates. Are we on the same page?
Yes, boss.
All right, so
I'm unable to get username.
you're unable to get username.
Getting error. Yes. Call report not found.
Let me see. Did you use a get?
Yes.
Get username. Um, Is anyone else having issues with get username? Get username. Okay, so this username is the username you created that you will pass.
Yes.
Let me see. Let me try to set up my.
It works fine from my end.
Get user slash. Um, username. Let me see the collection. Oh, it should be the username. Sorry, the username that you created should be what should be there. Did you pass the username you created?
Yes, in the parameter.
Let me see what my username is for. Get username. Get username. Okay. So, hmm, okay. I'm getting error here too. User not. Did you get user not found? Is that what you got? Hello? Can anyone still hear me? Can anyone still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So when you passed your username, what did you pass for those people that their username is working? Get username. What did you
I'm
pass?
seeing 405 method not allowed. Mm.
Change your methods. But I thought you said you got the right thing.
Yes, no, not me, the other lady.
So I
So
passed
why
the
I
username
was getting
I created during the user creation. That was what I passed, and it worked.
Username. What did you call it?
I didn't get the other part, please.
Like username, get username.
Try it. Wait. Okay. Go user.
Okay. Has anyone done? Let's just let's leave our username for now.
I have a problem too.
Okay, let's leave out username for now. Has anyone been able to do update user?
I have a problem here. Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, please, I have a problem. I stopped at variable. I'm actually lost.
Okay, so after variable,
Okay, yeah.
you go to your endpoint and try
Okay,
to reference the variable using this curly brackets and
okay.
the name of the variable.
So I will delete the endpoint.
Yes, you clear out the endpoint and reference this. So after that, um, let's go ahead to
Sorry, can we go back to that get username? Let me see. Remove the question mark and the username till the, yeah, remove it down to the question mark. Let's try. And it should be a get request. Why?
throwing an error.
Hey, God.
Oh, I can see what the issue
Did
is.
you say?
Extra
It's
polygon.
supposed to be inside the poly brain.
When
Mm,
you say user not found, let me create another user. Tempo,
Okay.
tempo. And remember to log in. You have to be logged in. Tempo. Is get to. Since started showing a lot of errors. Ah, okay. Tempo and password. Login. Tempo and password. It's not going through. Like I said, it's a test, a free API resource. Oh, I can see. Maybe I feel. Wait, let me change the ID. 7. Let me put 7. Send. Tempo. Okay. Let's hope that it works. Still not working. Okay. Oh, wait. I can see what the error is. Tempo. Okay, it's not working. So I think you should check the ID that you passed. Change the ID. Change the ID that you passed while creating the user. It shouldn't be the same ID. Are you here with me? Hello?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
Mr. Mama? Try to create a new user, change the ID, change the username, ensure that you go through the workflow. Create username, then log in, Then get username. You can decide to log out. That one is an option. But ensure that you are logged in. So confirm if you are getting the expected response.
Mama, did you?
Are you getting the expected response?
All of us is just for
Okay. So let's go over to the scripting aspect.
Okay.
So for all these scenarios, it's only positive that we can go ahead. So finding it difficult to name. All right. Are you still here with me? So you can decide to indicate this as positive. Everything that we did is still positive scenario. So I will just add some negative scenarios for you, so you can come up with other negative scenario. We need to move fast right now. So let me try to duplicate this and create a test case for invalid data. So however, you can always get a template for your test script. So I just decided to use this. So let me.
Sorry, I have a question.
Okay.
So if is there any other way? Sorry, I think this place is noisy. Give me a sec. Okay, so I was going to ask if I don't necessarily want to keep duplicating the request to run negative tests. How can I use how can I use one request to automate for all the possible entries of like data, like let's say invalid password, invalid name, empty strings, and things like that?
Okay. Like I said initially, Postman as a tool is a black box technique. Is actually, you can also call it like it's still like indirectly still manual. It's still manual. It's still like manual testing. So if you want to do that, like what you said, what you need to start looking at rest assured. While using rest assured, you have access to like manipulate scripts and write it like that in one line. But if it's Postman, most times all what you can just play around is with the scripts in JavaScript. So you still have to do most things manually, write the scenarios manually. So the automating part is you are just clicking a button while every scenarios are being executed. So you have to go there and create it manually, all the negative scenarios. So I don't know if
Are you going to cover it? Are you going to cover rest assured for this one, or something we have to do individually?
no, this is just Postman. There will be subsequent trainings after this, but this is just the first edition. We're still starting with Postman. So we can still look at other tools. And you can use Cypress, you can use Playwright, rest assured for automation. I hope I'm able to answer your question. All right, so let's move on.
Yes,
So
yes.
what tool do you use for automation of Postman of API?
About automation, you can use Postman, then you can use rest assured. But if you like to manipulate your code, like have control over the code, you make use of rest assured.
Yeah.
But for Postman, you have to manually write some things and use like a new runner, a Newman runner,
Run it.
a Postman runner, or using Jenkins to run the tests. Okay, so let's go ahead. So I'm trying to create a negative scenario. So you can choose to adopt this format, or you use a format that you're more comfortable with. So for this, I can indicate this as positive. When you create user with valid data, this negative, creating with invalid data. So the essence of this tool is to ensure that all positive scenario is covered. So we are using the data-driven approach. We are trying to use all combination and ensure that there are no loopholes. So you check for duplicate data. Duplicate. This is also a negative scenario. Then create user.
Sorry. I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
So with this now, you're testing the positive, the negative scenarios. And then I assume maybe in a situation whereby you also test manually and automate. Doesn't this is this ideal in terms of the time that will be spent? If you are testing the UI, you are also testing the API this way, and then you probably will still do some other form of UI automation later. I'm looking at how long it's going to take. I don't know, or is this how it is done, or are there maybe teams dedicated independently to each of these things so that this amount of time can be spent, for instance, testing out these scenarios?
Okay, I will just say it all depends on the organization. Some organizations that have done it well, that we have different teams. We have teams that manages APIs and platform. We have teams that manages UI. We have teams that manages anything, maybe database and the like. But for an average Nigerian company, they want to get a resource to do basically all this function. So as a QA, you need to be versatile in doing all these things. So I believe you have no issues with this, because for every project that you get to work on, you set an estimate. The project team, you plan your there is an estimate that is planned for every sprint. So if I'm working on this, so in a standard organization, for every application, before the application is before the UI is developed, there would have been the API parts, the database parts, before you now get to test from the UI. So if proper approach is followed in the proper processes or approaches followed in the organization, you have to get to test everything, each component, before everything works together as a whole. So for every based on the organizations I've worked for, so if we are just planning a new application on like building a new application, there's a part of APIs. The developer he develops the API, so I'll validate all the APIs that everything works well. Then I'll automate that part. Then we'll move over to the part of testing the UI. Then while I'm testing the UI, I'm also testing that data entries are impacting the DB as well. So what I have returned on the UI, on the API, matches what is on the DB. So I hope you're good with my response. So
Oh, yes, I am. I was just thinking of like you said, Nigerian industries where maybe you're working and then as the developer is finishing the API, the front-end person has already finished building the UI based on the design and he's already consuming this API at that point, So that because it's the description you gave is like they build the API, then maybe the front-end person is still building something else or has not commenced consumption of the API until it's done. But most times in all these industries where maybe you are the only QA, as the developer is finishing the endpoint, the front-end person had already finished his own UI. So he's even consuming it and you are probably still testing the API and giving the developer feedback that this API, there's an issue here, and the UI person is consuming. So that's that's the angle I was looking at it from.
Okay. I think as a QA, that's why you are the QA, you need to let them respect the timeline that you set. So there are I think at some point there should be pushbacks. So like this is the time that I already plan to estimate. So as a QA, you shouldn't allow anyone to rush you. You should do your thorough testing and give report of what you have tested. I understand in most organizations they are always in a hurry to push out their products to the production. But as a QA, we are the gatekeepers. If anything happens, they will still come back to you. So it will be good for you to let them know, like spell out things that yes, this is the time I will use to complete it. Whatever they want, just make sure you do your own quality work. So
okay, thank you very much.
All right. So so this is the negative scenarios that I created. You can go ahead and expand the other ones. So have I created the one for duplicate data? So invalid data. So just a minute. This invalid data, you can just put this thing is not copy. Okay. You can just put things that are not maybe just so let me send it. So because this is a free API, it still returns 200. But in reality, you should return an error message like, please provide a valid username. Please provide a valid first name. Then if you like enter this thing, it should flag it for you. So this the work you are doing as a quality assurance engineer. So like this, there's a right now with what I just executed, there's a bug here. So what I'm expecting is that an error message should be flagged that I entered a wrong user, an invalid username. My email is not in the correct format. So these are the issues that will be flagged and reported to developer. But because this is a test URL, it keeps returning 200. So that is that about that. Then for this duplicate data, you can use the data that you've already created. Let's just copy the whole of this data. It keeps returning, it will also return 200. Like I said, this is a free API. That's why we are getting 200. On a normal day, I should get a message that the user already exists. The user already exists. So let's go ahead to the scripting part. So we are getting close to automation. So you go over to the post response and try to write the script. I'll drop the script for you in the chat. So I'm declaring a variable. I'm naming the variable JSON data. Let me name it response data. Response data. So PM dot response. So the part we are currently in is assertions. So assertion is just used to check whether the actual value meets up with the expected value. So that is what assertion is all about. So what we are checking if expected and actual results matches. If there's a variance between the two, you know that is a defect or a bug, and you need to report it to the development team. So right now, we are trying to save this response here. This response is in JSON format. So response.json format, we are trying to save it inside this variable called response data. So you can just try it from your end too. JSON. So I'm going to be dropping this. So put it in your script session. Then after that, we go over and use our assertions. So we'll be making use of a library in JavaScript called and Kai assertions. Let me check it online. So you can just go to Google and type Kai assertions. Oh, my battery is low. Oh, not postbot. Let me get it. Kai assertion documentation. Kai assertion documentation. Okay, you can see. Let me drop the link for you. So you can use different types of assertion. PM assertions. We are trying to use PM. It's okay. I don't want to open it in this now. Discussion in documentation. There is cheat sheet here. I hope you can see PM assertions. I'll try to get, and there's a resource where everything is. I'll try to get it for you later. Okay, so let's go ahead with it. The first assertion we want to do is to check the status code. If this status code is 200, so you can go ahead and write pm.test status code is 200. So you write a comma. This is like a function. It's a function. It's actually a function. Then you open and close. Then pm.response to have status 200. To have status 200. Okay. So then you save and send your request. So you can see that our test passed. This is our first test. Assertion is passed. So what you're basically doing is you are trying to validate if the correct responses are returned. So if it's a real API. So when you create a user, some of the things that should be returned is the user, maybe the user details like username, password, ID. Password shouldn't be returned. Password should not be returned if it's a real API. Just the user details that should be returned. So if that was returned, we should have assert everything. But because we only have, we have to make use of the only thing that is returned here. So please confirm if you are able to replicate this from your end. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we are with you.
So then the next one is, you can also assert the time, like the time response. For most, I think for most, it should be an average time of 500, or it depends on what is specified in the API documentation. But let's just use 500. So pm.test response time is less than 500. So you can choose to use another function. You begin and end. So there should be a stop here. PM dot. There is actually an auto suggestion. If you want this, if you want to go ahead with this suggestion, what you do is to press tab. But in your earlier days of writing test script, I will not encourage that because it will actually make you lazy. So just try and type everything in full by yourself. So then the last test, will validate if the response contain code. If it does, you can assert that it contains a field code. You can assert that if it's equal to 200, you can assert that this type is not empty. It all depends on your choice. So pm.test, we will be asserting code right now, that the code exists. Response body contain code. Response body contain code. So pm.expect this should be okay. Response data dot code to include property, you can call it property, you can call it keys code. Okay, let me try to copy. Let's check if type dot type to include type to include property or keys. Let's use property here. Type. So so let's check message too. Message contain, this is type message. So let me save and send. Something is wrong with our code. Oh, I've not saved. Property type to include dot keys. code. Hello, are you still with me?
Yes,
No,
please.
I
Okay,
don't
so
understand this.
what did you say?
I'm still here, but I'm still trying to understand.
Okay, let me try to.
I'm following you.
Can you tell me at what point are you having issues?
Um,
Hello, please, can you paste the scripts for us? Because it's taking time for us to type it out.
Okay, I will. I'm coming. Let me just. So the script is there. I just used postbot now. I should have showed you how to use postbot. So you can actually, everything that I'm typing by hand, you can actually generate it with a postbot. So this is a postbot for assertion in Postman. But you need to understand what the script does before using this postbot. So I'll try to take the explanation of the script all over again. So this is a variable. I declared a variable called response data. So I now got all this response.json. All this response is in JSON format. So I'm saving all this response inside this response data. I'm saving it in this variable location. So then I went ahead to assert the status code. This status code 200. I want the script to confirm if it is 200 that is returned. Is it 200? So I wrote pm.test. All those things you don't have to really put it on your head. So pm.test status code. Then I actually created a function to assert if 200 status is returned. So this is how you write the script. pm.test status code 200, comma, write the function, open and close curly brackets, and pm.response to have status 200. So that's why we have this. I hope you are clear up to that point. So I'll send it now. You go to test results, you see that that is past 200. We're expecting response code 200 and 200 was returned.
My question is, why do we need to do all this? What are we trying to test here?
Okay, so we are trying to test if the response that is returned after sending the payload is correct. So you can only do that by writing a script to assert that am I getting the right, for instance, I created the endpoint is actually creating user. I created with username, first name, password, and the likes. So because this is looking like a vague endpoint, that's why you are not getting to see right response. So if you are trying to create a user, when you send your valid data, what should be returned is the name that you created, the password, the username, and everything. So we are now trying to check if the response that is returned is correct.
Okay.
So
And
that's what we're trying to do here.
okay, so and we do that for all the payloads that we send.
And you do that for all your API requests. You have to
Oh,
create it. But to
okay.
make things faster, after you are comfortable writing the test script, you can always copy, you can always copy and paste. Why send
Okay.
from endpoints? It will return similar responses. So you have to copy, you can copy and paste, and sometimes you can also use postbot. But while using postbot, you have to be careful because AI is garbage in, garbage out, is what you put in, and you might be getting some funny response. So you have to also edit your script to fit into what you need.
Okay.
So that is basically what we're doing here. So we still get to use, this is just like an introduction. The next endpoints that we'll use is dummy JSON. I think it's more real compared to this. So this endpoint looks so big. There are a lot of things that are not right there. Okay, so that is that. So really taking a lot of time on this session. So you can try to replicate that for the two other scenarios, the negative scenarios. You can just copy, I think you just copy and paste because, oh, okay. For this invalid data, let me see. Um, okay, it is the same, let me see. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So I think we've covered assertions like that. I'll still drop other assertion libraries that you can use. You can use to be equal to, if you want to assert that, for instance, you create a user, the name of the user is Adenike. You can assert that what is returned, is it equal to Adenike? Is a field, is there, if there's a field that should be excluded, is not equal, then you can also check if it's not empty. So all those tests, I'll drop it. I'm going to create a WhatsApp group after this call. So I'll drop so many things that are resources that you can use to practice. So the next thing that I want us to touch is
Please, you wanted to copy the script.
I think I've shared it. Have I not shared it? I shared the script.
No, it's not here yet.
Oh, sorry. I'll resend. Send the chat. Let me just copy this. So if you actually pass for this. Okay, one test is failing here. I guess it should be the time. Because see, 862, the response, it took 862 milliseconds to be returned. So that's why it failed. So most times you can just exclude it from your tests because you don't have control over the time. So That is that about that. So let's go over to Fakerslibrary. So there's a library in Postman that you can use to generate you can use it to generate data. So um I don't have to be putting username, first name. So there's a way you can like automate that and make it a data driven. So that's the next. I think that will be the final thing we are going to discuss today. So you can just go ahead and implement everything that we have learned today on the other APIs, and also you create negative scenarios. So more like this is what I want us to have. It should be like this. So it should be like this. Okay, so let's quickly try to wrap up. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and come here. ID. What's the name? So by passing can pass for username, you can pass first name. You can see this library, random first name. Then ID. I think something is missing.
You need to remove the string.
Then random first name to generate random first name. Random first name. I'm always using this thing. The random last name. So we are currently using a Fakerslibrary in Postman.
Fakerslibrary.
Then for email, we can just put first name and concatenate it. Let's use your email. Just concatenate it with first name. Random first name. Let's copy this. So password, you can just put a password. Then phone number, you can choose to put a phone number, or you can choose to generate a random phone number too. Random phone number. Okay, let me send it. So before I do this, let us try to create a pre-request script, because I want it to log it. I want it to log this user data. I want it to log it on the collection variable. If you remember, this is the collection variable. I want all the entries to be logged here. So that leads us to creating pre-request variable. Pre-request script rather, pre-request script. So let's go over to the script and go to pre-request. So let's start by declaring ID. Okay, because everything that I defined in the post request, this variable, I'm supposed to like instruct postman to set that variable before going ahead to execute. So it will become clearer. Just go on the journey with me. So for pre-request script, so we name that variable ID. We name the variable ID here. So let's go to pre-request script. Let ID equal pm.variables. So we declared ID in the body. So we have to declare the variable here. Let ID equals to pm.variables dot replace in so random int. That ID, we are mapping it to a random int. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's an integer. So random int. So then we now want it to set it in collection variable. I initially said there is also environment variable. So, but currently we are using collection variable. So it will set the variable in the collection. If you want it to set it in the environment, you can also set it in the environment based on what you instruct it to set. So pm dot collection variable dot set id as id. So I'm instructing it to set id as id in collection variable. So in this body, this means pm variables replace in random int. That is this id that I passed in this body. You should replace it with random integer. So let's go ahead. So we'll do that for every variable. Then let first name equal pm dot variables dot replace in random first name. Then I'm instructing it to pm dot collection variable. We should set this. I think need to update that random that I passed, random first name. It should be this first name variable I should pass in the body. Dot set first name, no, small letter, first name, first name. Okay, let me go to the body. Let me see. So this should be first name. This body should be first name. You know, I'm setting, I said it should replace, this my first name is not correct. Okay, I'm instructing it to replace first name variable that was declared in the body with random first name. And after that, you should set this first name that I created. You should save it in first name and pm dot set it in my collection variable. This variable that is here. I don't know if are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay. So let me save. So this should be first name, because the name of the variable we declared is first name. So then we also do that for the username. We are concatenating first name and ID together. So let me write that. So we are not declaring anything there. We are making use of the ID that exists and the first name that we have created. Okay. So first name, you can see there is an issue here. See, first name, this and this, they are different. First name, let me change it to first name. Everything is small letter. Name, first name. save. Okay, we are good with that. First name and ID. So this should be first. Who can correct the error that is here? If you, I want to know if you are following. What should this one be? What should this one be? Hello? I hope you are not lost.
The first name.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then for last name, I think there's username. What's username? That's username. Last name. So that's first name. So user, I just want you to collect
I'll just carry
variables.
Okay. All right.
pm.collection variables dot set username comma. For username, I want you to concatenate first name and ID together. Okay, we are good with that. Save. Then last name. Is it last name? Yes, let last name equal pm.variables dot replacing. Let me try to copy and paste to make things fast. We are in last name. Sorry about my first one. Okay. Who can spot out the error here? Can spot out the error? Can you spot out the error? There's an error here. That's why we have this red mark.
Cover the bracket now. Cover
Okay.
the bracket now. Put.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Concatenate this is
Username.
so
We have an error in the compression. There's something wrong with the script.
stop and request. Yes.
Let's try and figure out. You have an error in the code. So sometimes when you can't get the error, you can make use of this post bot to fix the test. Well, let's check where the error is. IT. So let me fix test. Because my time is fast. So I use postbot to fix our error because we have there's no, we don't have much time in our slide to start working. So let me check the request, the body. Everything is supposed to be in red. Let's just fix this. I'm also using postbot to fix the test over here. I hope it doesn't. I need to control Z. So that's why I said we have to be careful about postbots. So it has changed. It has actually changed. Let's not get the valid. It has changed some of my scripts.
Yes. Should I start, girl?
Okay, I think we are good now. So let's check. Let's check our collection view. We can see it has logged. So these are the inputs that was used. Let's check. Let's confirm. You can see the message. If you notice this endpoint, this message is the ID that is passed here. If you check on the collection variable, can you see? Can you see? These are the inputs that was used. So we've been able to create a data-driven test using Fakerslibrary in Postman. So what I'll just do is I need to show you environment variable as well. So for environment variable, maybe you might need to try that on your own. So for environment variable, we created our variables in collection. We have to wrap up this training in few hours time. So sorry, in few minutes time rather. So this is environment. New environment. You create a new environment. That is our base URL that we created. You come over here and create it. I don't know why my cursor is not working. You can come to environment using this. Okay, so base URL. Your base URL.
Base
Can you see?
URL.
Hello? Okay, so
Hello, we can hear you.
okay, that your base URL. You know, I know we created base URL in collection. So you can also come to environment. You can use either of the two. So in environment, you put your base URL. All right. Okay. So you go to collection and put your base URL. You go to environment and set your base URL there. This is it.